they'd rather do more with this new one, or the one to come after.
Yeah, for them to be, like, forcing Illuminations to go so quickly just so they can, like, put something else in there as a quick replacement. Uh, I feel like that probably means people just have been unsatisfied with it, or maybe, like, said something about it. Uh, I don't know, maybe lack of social media stuff. You know what I mean?
Maybe it's just it's come to its end for 20 years.
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't really know. Not my call.
Yeah, something like that.
All right, so let's move on to our Star Wars news, I guess.
Oh boy.
Since we got a lot of Star Wars news, I guess. More than usual. We'll go with that.
Oh yeah.
Alright, so at Star Wars Celebration 2019, more audio animatronics are coming to Star Wars Galaxy Edge. Specially themed Coke products are coming. Captain Rex from the original Star Tours and Yoda will be featured in the land, and more images were shown. What are your thoughts?
My thoughts are that I've only seen the first Star Wars.
Alright, so what are your thoughts on Star Wars Galaxy's Edge as a whole then? Like coming to Hollywood Studios and Disneyland.
I mean, it's probably a good idea, considering so many people, like, for money-wise, because so many people like Star Wars and stuff. It just, a bit of it does make me a little sad, though, that, like, Disney just uses all these, like, licensing they have and add those to their park instead of, like original, Imagineers ideas from, like, to, like, make the parks really unique and cool. It's just become this whole branding thing. Like, look, we got Star Wars and we got Avengers. Look at that. It's so cool. And look at all this Pixar stuff. And look at all our characters. We own so much. Do you own that much? Yeah, and it lacks the, like, creativity and originality that, like, I think was supposed to be the original theme of the parks, and it's just kind of sad to see them just add in this new stuff that's just branding, because there's so much they could do.
How do you feel about it being an entire land, since usually they focus on just like one ride closing to replace another ride, but this is taking up an entire land, since it seems like they've focused on more lands, like went from Avatar to Toy Story Land to now Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, which is land. So, how do you feel about them focusing more on lands?
I mean, it makes sense, because it keeps central theming, like, apparent and everything. It keeps it from just being like, hey, we know that you're supposed to be in, like, a carnival, but look here, we have a ride that's based on Jack Jack. Look at that. You like that? So it keeps it more theme-centric, which definitely makes sense, instead of you just being, like, walking around this cool area and then it's suddenly being Star Wars bombarding in your face. So it makes more sense. Definitely. It's just a bit disappointing that they don't have more original stuff, but I know they gotta make more money and they gotta show more stuff, so that's why they're doing it.
How do you feel about them preparing already to be like massive crowds? Like almost massive crowds as like in a theme park, first day opening. It's kind of just a land, first day opening, but it's still going to be major. How do you feel about that?
Like they're preparing for huge crowds already?
Yeah, how do you feel like all these crowds are coming for this one area?
I can see it definitely happening, because I feel like, especially today, people are like almost religiously like obsessed with like their fandoms, I guess would be what you call it, like Star Wars and Avengers. So it makes sense. Like, I feel like more people are going to be, like, especially today, willing to pay all the money to go on the opening day of these lands to just, like, completely crowd the area.
And I think Disney's trying to do more of that, since they're doing their Star Wars hotel across the way, which is, like, uber expensive to see, like, how far their fans will go for it.
Oh, yeah. It's just, like, and uh, it's kind of almost taking advantage of this whole gatekeeping culture. Like, if you haven't been to the Star Wars hotel, you're not a real Star Wars fan. Like, I feel like that's gonna be a thing that happens in the next couple of years once this is created.
That's Disney's advertising. If you haven't done this, then you're not a fan.
They make fake Star Wars fan accounts, and it's just like, guys, if you haven't been to Disneyland and stayed at the Star Wars hotel for at least a week, you're not a real Star Wars fan, and you can get out, block me, unfollow me if you haven't done this.
Alright, so we're gonna move on to our last news, which I know you're not a big Star Wars fan, but you gotta admit it's pretty cool that the final Star Wars Episode 9 trailers released. I guess I can't really say Star Wars Episode 9 now, since that's what we've been calling it, but Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah. So I'm just now watching it, because I still haven't watched it. I watched a parody of it.
Why would you watch a parody before the trailer itself?
Because it was Jack's Films, a YouTuber I really like.
Okay.
So.
No sponsor here, since...
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think it's kind of exciting that we're coming to an end of a generation especially since that's their slogan, I guess you could say, for that trailer.
No, they're gonna make an animated reboot in the next decade of the whole Star Wars franchise.
I know they're backing off on Star Wars films, at least movies, since now they're focusing on the Disney Plus service, as shown by The Mandalorian.
Yeah.
And then this new one with Alan Tudyk and Diego Luna. I don't remember the name of it.
Mm-hmm.
But I know they're focusing more on that.
Yeah.
Hopefully it goes in the right direction. I don't know where it's going to go with that.
Yeah. I mean, it is kind of like, I don't know, it's just really crazy to see such a long saga finally come to an end after so long.
Now, I know you haven't seen it yet.
I'm watching it. I just finished watching it.
That's fine.
This trailer, at least, yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, the trailer. So, there's a lot of things to discuss about this. I know you're not a major Star Wars fan, but I'm just gonna say it right here.
Mm-hmm.
The major points of it, I guess. So, Rey is fighting someone. It's Kylo Ren's TIE fighter. We assume it's Kylo.
Yeah.
So, it could be the final fight, or it could be just her training with him. We don't know. I think the other cool things a part of it were Lando coming back, and now Palpatine is coming back, which that's pretty exciting.
Yeah.
In one shape or form, at least.
I don't know who those characters are, so...
That's so sad.
That's okay.
That's okay.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of... I don't really know how to describe it. This feeling that we're coming to an end of this generation Star Wars, since just like their slogan, every generation has a legend.
Yeah.
So our generation's legend, I guess you could say, is Rey.
Yeah.
Well, it was Luke and Anakin for the others. I'm gonna be surprised what their kind of like tie-in maybe for the ending or the cliffhanger.
Yeah. Yeah. I might actually have to watch like Star Wars now so I can like go see them. I don't know. The first one didn't grab me.
You never saw... How many have you seen?
That's it.
A New Hope?
I think the first one was Luke.
Okay, so then it was A New Hope.
Yeah. So that's the only one I've seen.
Alright, this is probably the point where all our listeners, or even if we don't have listeners, anyone that's listening that's a Star Wars fan is like, I'm done with this podcast already, when you said, oh, I've only seen one.
Yeah, they probably hate me now. It's okay. I'm used to it.
Alright, so we're going to take a quick break. We're going to play a game after this when we come back. How's that sound?
Yeah, let's go.
Welcome back to Always Crowded. We took a quick break, and now we're back to play a game, a brand new game to the show called Changes. This is where I'm going to ask the guest, as in our case, Basil, about a change she would make to anything in the Disney parks. Could be a ride, could be food, could be anything at all. And I'll go first just so you get the idea of it. My change, at least in my case, for Magic Kingdom, I'll just go with that one for this episode at least. My change would be Stitch's Great Escape, which is already gone and changed into the Stitch Meet and Greet. But I would change that into a pretty strong rumor that's been going on for a while now. The Sugar Rush Racing VR game. I would change it to where half of the room, I guess you could say half of it, is Sugar Rush. You get to choose either Sugar Rush or the new Slaughter Race game. Only because it's like Sugar Rush is for kids, I guess. If the kids want to do that, they can.
Fam Squad, I would be doing Sugar Rush.
I mean, I'd be doing both though. I think everyone else would too, yeah. But for the littler ones, they could do Sugar Race if they wanted, and then for the appealing to everyone else in the older audience, because Disney's always tried that, they could do Slaughter Race.
Oh yeah, that would be really neat, honestly.
But then they would still have to keep that family-friendly style, you know?
Oh yeah, that would be really cool. Personally, I think it'd be cool if they, like, made that into, like, the thing it was originally before it was Stitch. I definitely, like, updating.
Extraterrestrial alien encounter.
Yeah, that thing. But definitely a Sugar Rush, thing would be really cool. I love Wreck-It Ralph, especially the first movie.
I've talked to an Imagineer about it, what's going on with that, and this was about a year ago, and he told me that there wasn't really enough money in the budget for that, and he told me also other ideas that they've had with Stitch's Great Escape at the time, and it's been over a year now, and nothing's really happened, so I don't really know.
Yeah, well, I hope they do something cool with it.
I don't know what they've got planned, but we'll see.
Yeah. My personal change, I have several, but I think it would be really cool to, like, and of course this would be huge, and obviously out of the budget, but I think it'd be cool to, like, change Tomorrowland into the original, like, steampunk, Jules Verne sort of design it was originally supposed to be, and sort of was.
So sort of kind of like the Space Mountain version of Disneyland Paris?
Oh, yeah, I absolutely love that, and honestly, one of my dreams is to go to Paris and go to Disneyland Paris and go on that. But, yeah, I think it would be really cool if they went back to that. I mean, they used to have the 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea ride, which I actually went on when I was an infant, but, of course, that's been removed. I think that would be really cool, and obviously, as I stated earlier, I think Epcot really needs some work, and I think it'd be really nice if they would do more with the Imagination Pavilion. I don't really have any specific ideas about that, but I do definitely feel like it's worth putting in the effort to, like, you know, change it, upgrade it, you know, because, like, I feel like it holds some of the core values of, like, Disney in it, and it just hasn't had any work done to it.
Now, when you say you want changes to the Imagination Pavilion, they've kind of, I guess, changed it up a little bit, where now you can meet Ralph and Vanellope, but that's kind of, it's a meet and greet.
No, but I think it would be cool if they, like, took the original ideas of it and, like, just made it a bit better and more modern and everything.
Would you change the Journey into Imagination with Figment? Would you change that to its original form, which everyone loved? And now don't care for this version, I guess?
Yeah, I definitely would say they should probably revert to something closer to the original, but still, like, adding maybe more modern technology and aspects to it. I think there should be some upgrades to it that maybe have a better display of, like, things that are being, like, I don't know, imagination and creation and everything, because that's stuff I would really like to see more, like, I don't know, there. I really liked that as a kid, and I don't feel like the Imagination Pavilion is, like, very good. I mean, I went there a couple of years back, and there was no line. We were the only people on the ride. Like, it was scary, and it was a pretty busy day at Epcot, like on a Friday, and it was just like,